Hey everybody, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning, or if you're watching on recording after the fact, we very much appreciate it. This is something we sort of casually call Fridays with Steve, but in reality, today we're going to be talking about endpoint management and security, and specifically the Microsoft plus Apex workshop in this space. So we're going to talk about endpoint management and security. And so let's go ahead and get started. So real quick, my name is Steve Thompson. I'm the Vice President of Solutions and Alliances here at Apex Digital Solutions. I've been with the organization about 6 months after kind of a wandering career through IT. I've been staff IT, I've been a consultant, I've been a sort of a manager and a leader in the technology space, both Microsoft focused as well as open source, which was an interesting journey. I'm really appreciative that I got to have it, as well as starting my own organization, starting my own Microsoft partner. And so all of that has led me here. And I'm super excited to be with you here this morning and talking to you a little bit about this space. And so here's today's agenda. What I'm going to cover is really kind of the importance and some of my thoughts around endpoint management and a security strategy. Things have really changed, especially in the BYOD or the bring your own device space. And so I want to hit a little bit of that and have that flow right into the workshop, what we can offer you in conjunction with Microsoft to really, whether it's, kick off your awareness, better understand the capability that's out there, start your adoption or spur adoption in your environment. One of the great spaces we like to deliver workshops is with customers that have some of this capability sitting on the shelf or are looking to retire sort of an overlapping product or a product that they've invested in separately to reduce costs. Oftentimes these projects fund themselves. And so what I want you to walk away with today is a better understanding of the landscape, maybe some questions or some thoughts to go back to your organization with, how you can engage with us, how to take those next steps around a Microsoft plus Apex endpoint workshop. We offer a number of workshops in the space. I think this is number 4 in the series. There are 5 workshops that are really core to what we do here at Apex. And with our partnership with Microsoft, they really allow us to deliver these at scale to our customers. And if you stay tuned, I'll even talk about a super unique opportunity when it comes to this workshop space. So just a little bit about us. If you're unfamiliar with Apex, we've been around a long time. We're based in Southfield, Michigan. I'm actually coming to you from the road, so sort of living that hybrid life. It may look like one of those hide my background kinds of backdrops, but I'm actually coming to you from a co-working space in Chicago, Illinois. And so our technology, we sort of eat our own dog food. We use all this stuff each and every day, and it enables me to be on the road, traveling both for work and some other interests here in Chicago today, but being able to deliver this workshop to you wherever you might be. But we are based in Southfield, Michigan. We're a longtime Microsoft partner, gold and silver certified in many aspects, moving into the new cloud partner program. Hundreds and hundreds of customers, hundreds and hundreds of deployments. And that last one, I just want to highlight, and you can see some of the logos on the right-hand side. We're just really focused both on our employee as well as our customer satisfaction. It is just top of mind for us on the leadership team and for our organization as a whole, that all of our customers have a world-class experience. We're coming off a company meeting, and we spent a lot of time reviewing our performance with regard to customer satisfaction. It isn't It isn't an empty survey we collect. It isn't just an exercise we go through. It's something that we really take to heart, up to and including making it part of our pay plan, making it part of how we think about our performance in any given quarter. So today, I'm here to talk to you about the Endpoint Workshop offered by Apex and Microsoft, what's in it, what it's about, maybe answer a few questions. I've got my production team ready to jump in, answer any of your questions, or if it makes sense, elevate them to me. Again, as we use the technology, as we use the Teams platform to deliver this to you today. And so what is a workshop? What is the Endpoint Workshop? It's an executive deep dive into remote deployment, management, and the security of both corporate and BYOD devices in your organization. Couple of quick thoughts here. The BYOD piece. There's been an amazing transformation when it comes to allowing folks to use their own devices, their Android and iPhones, tablets, to do corporate things, to do organizational things with them. We have a great ability to sort of sequester and secure, that corporate or that organizational inbox from the Gmail account, right? And so this workshop is really designed to give you a very comprehensive take on managing all those devices, securing all those devices, even if we do it in slightly different ways. It wasn't, too far in the past that, you were really offered a choice, which was, boy, do I not get personal or not get corporate or organizational email on my personal device? Do I carry two phones? Do I break down and enroll fully my personal device and sort of the corporate enrollment process? Maybe it was software from like Good back in the day, and all of a sudden I've got all these locks and controls on my phone. It doesn't feel like my phone anymore. And so there's been massive improvement with endpoints and Intune technology to really address that. And that's what this workshop is about. Let's work in your world, in your environment, talk about your needs and what is going to motivate you, what's going to drive you to success, and deliver you a roadmap for next steps. And so what we'll do in the workshop, the focus is really on you, your priorities, your environment, key stakeholders, gotchas, to be honest, right? Understanding what the key drivers are in your environment. Because historically, demos, stock PowerPoints, they might communicate a message, they might communicate a technical or a marketing message, but they're not adapted for your environment. Microsoft plus Apex workshops are really designed to work locally in your environment and really personalize everything. Get you that learning, get you that education, answer your questions about the capabilities, about the ideas around the strategy for adoption and management and configuration, and work together with you to say, how can we showcase, how can we get you hands-on with the things that are most important to you? Is it about managing BYOD, right? I work with a lot of customers where their first step with Intune is to say, hey, I just got to put a policy out there. If you're going to grab corporate mail, if you're going to grab organizational mail, you got to use a PIN. We got to encrypt it. I got to have the ability to pull it off your device, after your last day. And so oftentimes, ironically, I'll see customers start with those personal devices before they start to move towards Intune managing that corporate space. The key outcome of the workshop is that last step. It's that planning stage, because what we want to do is hand you next steps, right? Here's what the plan looks like going forward, working with us, working on your own, to say, here's how we're going to start that rollout. Here's the additional education or the next project we're going to do together. That's really the focus of these workshops, is to get us to next steps. And so you can see there's some flux in naming and endpoint manager back to Intune all over the place. And so, presentations don't pivot as fast as the central marketing group at Microsoft CMG. And so I'll kind of use those terms interchangeably. Obviously, this was produced, before the last month when they did some naming changes and made some tweaks. And so what we'll do is we'll talk about the entire life cycle in the workshop, right? Make sure you understand, that we go from enroll and thinking about, is this a corporate device? Is this a personal device? How do we attack those things differently? Are we interested in the self-service aspect? Are we doing enrollment? Are we doing zero-touch provisioning? What does it look like getting it out there? And then once it's out there, what are we going to use it for, right? Is it email configurations, VPN configurations, wireless profiles, security policy settings, mandatory apps and app policies, all of those things that are going to make the environment, do what you need it to do for the business outcomes you're looking for. What's nice about this process is you can start small. You can start with a select group of devices or a select group of policies to do only a handful of things. Both of those allow you to really scale the rollout, scale the adoption as you see fit. And then all of this, morphs into protection, right? I already mentioned the whole PIN and encryption thing. Do we want to protect corporate data in different ways, restrict apps that can be used, remote wipe, all of those kinds of things, and then have that flow into reporting and a view of the world so that you understand the state and the health of the environment. And then it comes to that end. What does the end of the life cycle look like? Whether it's someone's last day or deprovisioning, lost phone. I don't have it in my fingertips, but there are some great stats about lost phones in Chicago taxi cabs. It's an unruly number when it comes to that. And now we've got corporate data on those, right? The second we lose it, we can call in and say, hey, wipe the corporate data off that phone next time it shows up, if it isn't already on the network, and we can take care of that and get that data off, right? Someone has physical possession of a device, you really can't guarantee security anymore. Physical access sort of trumps all. And because of that, we have these tools to be able to address it. So the full life cycle that you can enable with the platform. And so the objectives of the workshop, work with you, talk about, what are your goals? What are your objectives? What are the business outcomes you're looking for? And then walk you through both the education and the hands-on around Intune to be able to say, how does this map? How do the tools and the solutions map to your needs? And that's really the core of the workshop. And then the outcomes, right? Results and next steps, giving you those plans to go do more, right? Throughout the course of the workshop, maybe we do a handful of devices, maybe we do a couple of policies that are super low-hanging fruit, but that's just the start of the journey. What I love about workshops versus some other programs that we've partnered with Microsoft on is that when you get to the end, it's not just like, well, thanks for that, bye. It's here's what we're going to do next. Here's what you can work on. Here's what we can work on together. And that's why I love workshops so much. And so there's really 3 modules that we go through when we deliver the workshop to customers. It's that early assessment, let's get kicked off, answer some questions, we can tailor this to your needs, and it's super modular, because you'll see there's lots of stuff that's included, right? There's an Azure AD component, there's MDM, migration components, we can talk about devices, we can talk about Windows, there's all kinds of things that we can provide as experiences to you to really understand and really come to grips with the solution and all it can do. And then that last stage is building the plan, right? Those next steps, report out recommendations. Where do you go next? The other thing that filled in here at the bottom, and I've got some detailed slides here we'll kind of take a look at quickly. We can bring in different optional modules based on what is the most important to you, right? And so let's talk a little bit about them. And so once we're done, you'll have all these things coming out of it. You'll have a better understanding. You'll have that education. But I think most importantly, you'll have next steps to accelerate your deployment, your adoption, your rollout, your consideration. Maybe this is a step in the process as you look to build strategies, say, for calendar year 23. And so oftentimes workshops fit great in that space as customers I work with are developing their strategy going forward, even if they're not going to jump into adoption and deployment, the following Monday. So what are your responsibilities? One of the key things that we see is just having buy-in, right? Having that executive sponsor, having the ability to, be on the priority list to get those assemblies of the right team together, whether it's over your shoulder or, if we work together right in the tenant, right? And we want to be able to show you, in your world, in a safe and responsible way, how this can augment your device strategy, your endpoint strategy. We can always do demo tenant stuff, and we can always do mock-ups. And I think some of the rightfully so, some of the pushback there is like, well, but that's not real world. So let's do it in your environment and be able to show you what it looks and feels like in your world. And so just let's go into a little bit more detail and talk about this first phase around assess, and then we'll go through the other two, get into the detail about those optional modules. And so the first phase is really, it's a kickoff meeting. It's, meeting the team, talking about goals, talking about being aligned to risks, all those kinds of things, and make sure we've got the customer buy-in, right? We want to ensure that you're fully vested, that this is something that is going to be valuable to you, right? That's the key, is I just want to make sure that all parties involved are aligned. And then we deliver, an overview of what we're going to be talking about, some of the capability, but we do it at a high level, right? We just want to, with this broadest of customer teams and Apex teams, just get everybody on the same page, right? Kind of do a level set around the solution and make sure everyone's, at a base level of understanding of what we're going for. And so, here's some of the pieces. We can talk about enrollment, enabling device enrollment through other tools and technologies, configuring both the platform as well as devices. One of my favorite ones is talking about app deployment, right? Saying, hey, you can get to your corporate mail, but you got to use the current version of Outlook Mobile with these rules, encrypted, and I got to be sure you're using a PIN, and that kind of flows into that last protect piece. I think some of those are really the key pieces, and so we want to level set the information in the environment to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Enabling that protection, support and retire. So this is sort of the drill down into that life cycle, being able to see all aspects of that with the team, get that information out there so that you have the information necessary. You have the things you need to consider as we talk about both what we're going to look at in the art of the possible, as well as what we're going to do as next steps and build the plan. And so let's talk a little bit about that art of the possible, right? So it's really like a choose your own adventure. I get teased. I grew up with choose your own adventure books, right? If you go in the door, go to page 4. If you walk around the back, go to page 8, right? And so the concept of, plotting your own course through what you want to see and really get deeper in, right? And so I talked about those optional modules briefly. Let's talk about them a little bit more in depth, right? And so Azure AD, right? We've got the overview presentation. We can get, a feel for what it's like, to secure and manage, on-prem and cloud applications, Azure AD fundamentals. That's one sort of optional experience we can build in. We can talk about Microsoft specific devices, right? Some of the best stories are when, the solution complements itself, Surface and Surface Hub, Teams Rooms devices. That's a critical solution that we bring to market for our customers. HoloLens, we'd love to do more of it. I think it's still in its, kind of incubation phase with customers, but we certainly can talk about it. We've played with HoloLens. We actually have a partnership with a vendor called RealWear with a Teams-based wearable. And so the idea being, how do these devices, work best or work great with management solutions that are also in that platform? We talk about applications and Microsoft Edge. How can we control it? How can we deploy and ensure people are using the applications we want them to use in the environment, right? Lots of stuff about, deprecating legacy auth, and hey, do you want corporate mail and like default mail clients and things like that, where you lose a lot of control. And so we can spend time talking about the applications and controlling Edge. One of the big ones is analytics and reporting. I talked to a customer this week, and they showed me, we were talking about their onboarding process, and I was working with them, and they showed me the spreadsheet where they add every asset to the bottom row as it gets deployed, and I was like, whew, that's tough, right? And so automated analytics and reporting, inventory, health, usage. One of the fun ones, across the Microsoft Cloud platform now is the ability to have insight into, hey, who's consuming these services? Who's still, stuck in WebEx versus consuming Teams meetings, or using our old audio conferencing platform versus, using what's built into Teams and so forth. Endpoint is no different. Getting that information so you can see what's out there, what's healthy, what's being used, and ensuring that you have that visibility into your environment. We can also talk about MDM migration, right? A lot of folks in this space ended up, with a couple of different solutions. Perhaps there was one thing that was corporate on-prem or organization on-prem kind of management, and maybe you went to a Jamf or something like that to manage all the mobile Apple devices that came into the environment and things like that, but you ended up with 2 or heaven forbid 3 different solutions doing something in that same space. So we can talk about and kind of show you some experiences around maybe collapsing that. I already mentioned oftentimes here at Apex, working with customers, we can find the money in their existing IT budget to fund that thing they want to go and do next, right? Hey, by retiring Minesweeper, we can go do this work we want to do in the cloud on Office 365, replicate or sort of replace what that appliance is doing, and do it in a cloud solution that we already own. And then so the last step, really that critical last step, is build the plan. We've got all this information now. What are we going to go do next? And so Apex's task is to really take everything we heard from you, all that great work we did together in the course of the workshop, maybe over a week or two, meetings and scheduling permitting, and turn around and say, hey, here are the next steps we mapped out. Here's what we learned through the course of the workshop. Here's our recommendations. It's not really optional to us. It's definitely something we want to provide to you. I think it's a critical part of the workshop that we say, hey, here's what we think. We do a lot of both these workshops. We do a lot of work in this space. We've seen a lot of things. And one of the things that you get when you work with Apex is you get that set of experiences from those hundreds of customers and hundreds of deployments, and all of that turns into the recommendations and report out that you get from this engagement, or any engagement that you do with Apex. And so building the plan concludes the workshop, but I haven't done my job right. We haven't done our job right if we're not handing you a set of next steps and where to go do next. So Microsoft builds these workshops, and it's something that we focus on. And I just wanted to talk for a second, what sort of a why Apex, right? Why work with Apex when it comes to, a partner in this space, and why you should partner with us. As I said, we've got, thousands of hours, hundreds of customers and deployments, worth of experience that we bring to bear with every new customer we talk to, right? That's one of the things that you're getting with these engagements is it's not just, hours spent, with you that day. It's the 10 or 20 years that has led us to that spot, and all that information and experience we've gathered over time. We do assessments and workshops like this on the front end. We also work with customers around deployment management, integration, support, managed services. So just like that lifecycle slide earlier in the presentation around endpoint, Apex really does the entire lifecycle of sort of the technology journey. And we're happy to jump in with you anywhere you might be on that spectrum. We're a managed Microsoft partner, gold and silver, transitioning to the new partner program, key connections into programs. We're getting a lot of Microsoft investment, from them year over year to go and work with customers, both that we find as well as customers that Microsoft brings to the table for us. And so that key connection really helps build that strong bond. If this is the solution that's critical to your business, we can improve both the performance of that solution as well as your understanding and connection to Microsoft as well. So what are your next steps today? Whether it's on Friday or whether it's looking at this after the fact, what should you go do to get your journey started? The first thing is I need to remember to throw something out there, which is workshops, these front-end assessments and workshops from Microsoft. Oftentimes they are funded by Microsoft. This was the part I teased in the beginning, and heaven forbid, I almost forgot to mention it. If you give us a call, if you come and work with us, we can check and see if this is something that Microsoft's interested in funding for your organization, completely deferring the cost of this endpoint jumpstart. What do you need to do to find out if that's the case? You need to contact us. So if you're an existing customer, work with your account executive, whoever that might be. They've got all the tools and all the skills around these workshops and be able to check the funding as well as get you scheduled. If you're not a managed customer, if you have no relationship with Microsoft, go ahead and reach out to our sales team, sales@apexdigital.com. We'll respond right away and get you on the path to consuming this workshop or whatever you might need in your journey to technology maturity. We've got a bunch of workshop briefings in this series. I think this is number 4, so 3 are already available on demand as of the Friday I'm delivering this. Very soon, all 5 will be available. There are more than 5 Microsoft workshops. I think it's important. Part of my job here at Apex is to help us focus, right? To help us be able to deliver these both at scale as well as deliver them very, very well. Sometimes I see partners try to do a little bit of everything. That's just not us, right? We want to make sure we're the best in any space we play in. None of those things are appealing to you, but you still want to reach out? Hey, drop me an email, sthompson@apexdigital.com. I'm anxious to hear from any and all customers. I think there's lots of great ways that we can help you in your technology journey. We've got lots of folks on the line today. It looks like I did a pretty good job. I don't see anything in the Q&A. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. For those that are attending live, it sort of keeps us on time. And so I want to be respectful of that. So thanks for joining us today around the Endpoint Workshop that Microsoft and Apex can bring to you. I think there's a humongous opportunity here, and it's something we want to help you on your journey. I've got some critical next steps here. If nothing else, reach out to me, bottom of the slide there, sthompson@apexdigital.com. And with that, I thank you. If you want to just hop on our website, apexdigital.com/aegis, and you can take a look at our solution offerings and go ahead and reach out via the web as well. We've got information about our other workshops and all the technology solutions that we can bring to you. Thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to working with you.